So, what's up, YouTube? Back again with another one. We're going to talk about reverse shells again. Now, one of my favorite sites I like to go to is Rev Shells because you have a generator where you can automatically put in your IP address and port, and it gives you a multitude of options. Now, in the Windows system here, I'm going to show you a couple things. So, we can do IP config to get IP address on the remote machine. We can do IF config on our attacker machine, which is our Linux box. And as you see, we can select different operating systems on Rev Shells. So it's Windows, Mac OS, Linux. So for example, I'm going to put in this IP address here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make a directory. I'm going to call it Rev Shells. And here, I'm going to go ahead and put in my payload that it gave me. So it's going to go ahead and create a reverse.exe file in the exe format. And this is a staged payload, right? It's a staged because you see there's my interpreter / reverse underscore TCP, and I'll show you a stage list as well here in a minute. So how did we get this over to our machine? Well, you see that I went ahead and ran my Python web server, and since we're on the same network, I can actually ping. This is similar to like an internal penetration test. So I wouldn't be able to ping the other machine if it was like on a private or internal network. So I went ahead and brought that file over, used my, and I got a reverse. I got a listener, netcat listener on that port. Now you can make the port whatever you want it to be as long as it's an open or available port. As you can see here, I do have Defender, and I did have security measures in place that stopped me from running this, but I'm just going to do one anyways. It's just demonstration purpose, and as you can see, it's a connection. The thing is, when we're doing netcat, right, we're getting a basic shell with limited capabilities. So we're mainly running commands like if we're typing in a terminal. On the other hand, we'll use Metasploit, which is a multi-handler. And Interpreter provides an advanced interactive shell that allows us to do more than just the basic commands. So I'm going to show you that here in just a moment, how you do that. So we already use MSFVenom, which is getting us a interpreter shell, and that's the type of shell that you will have if you're using Metasploit, okay? So all right, so and you can actually get this on Rev Shells as well and run it all in one command, but I'm going to show you here manually. So I go, when I open up Metasploit with MFS console, I do multi-handler, export multi-handler, put in my listener. That's the port that I'm listening on, and I specified that when I did my make my executable. I'm going to go ahead and put my L host, which is my listening, my IP address. That's my list. I'm setting up a listener waiting on that connection. Now the issue here is I did a generic shell as opposed to doing a Windows reverse shell. So as you see here, this generic shell is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it, and I'm going to update it and make it a Windows interpreter reverse TCP handler. So let me go ahead and go back. Let me go ahead and close this out. Clear screen. you can see, antivirus and defender is off, right? Now, it doesn't matter what port your listener is on, as long as it's an available port. It doesn't really matter what port you use for your Python web server when you're serving up files. Same thing, as long as it's available port. And I'll show you that here in a moment. So I'm going to use this Windows Interpreter Reverse TCP. That's the one I'm going to use. All right. And we already set everything else, so it's going to start reverse connection in this stage. And as you can see, we got a interpreter shell, right? So we can see system info, and we can go here and we can type in system info as well. See, in interpreter is sysinfo, but in your command prompt is system info. So as you can see, it's going to show the same system name. Yep. So this is how you will hack the machine using a reverse shell. And you can run shell to actually get into the command prompt or PowerShell terminal. And that way you're outside of the interpreter shell now. And you can use CertUtil to transfer files, and I'll show you that here in a moment. So we did another one with a new port, and as you can see, we're still able to hack the machine. We changed the port to 33333, made another connection, and you can actually download files too from your machine that you're attacking by doing download and whatever the file name is. And as you can see, system info, machine name again, and I put my web server on port 55555. Just to demonstrate, it doesn't really matter. And it'll let you know if the port is not available. It's going to say already in use. Okay. So let's do it again. Let's do another one. Let's say we want a VBS file format. So that dash F is for file, dash O is for output, and we're going to put it on 2222. All right. Now it just created that file. So we'll put our server up. Let's put that on 2222. So we'll go here and we'll go 2222 for our port. And as you can see, and we got our VBS executable there. That's malicious. And we'll be able to run that. Let's make sure we have a listener set up on port 2222. PowerShell. Yeah, so I messed up. So I'm doing that on port 7777. I'm just doing random port numbers here, you guys. You can do whatever one you want, and I put the server back on port 8000. So let me go back, go to 8000, so I can grab that file. Rinse and repeat. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna go ahead and download it, save it. Go back here, show option, and let's run that other one. Matter of fact, if I do run with PowerShell, let's see what we got. Then we got a set execution policy. I'm gonna go into the downloads folder. Let's try to run the power. Let's try to run it from here. Yeah, it looks like it may not be executing. So, you know what? It's already in use. All right. So it looks like this one's not working, but we're gonna try something. Let's clear this. Let's go ahead and kill that. Let's try the VBS option again on that same port and make the output VBS file. So 7777, you guys. So make sure we're killing all processes in the terminal. That way, just making sure nothing's interfering. If it was an executable running, like one of our previous payloads, we'll make sure that we ended that task. So 4000 again, rinse and repeat. We'll go here, refresh. We'll see that one. Okay. Now we can run it. I do want to go ahead and set up my listener, so we can do run because you remember I kept the port 7777. Everything's good for the listener. Now if I go back, I got a shell. So system info, as you see, I got it. I can go in with the shell. Who am I? You can see my username in the computer. Okay. All right. Let's talk about transferring files with CertUtil. So I'll give you an example. So we're gonna go in and set up our Python web server on port 8000. And the way we can grab that is we know our IP address is that. So we'll go use CertUtil, which is used for certificates, but we can manipulate it and make it used for transferring files. And we're gonna go ahead and let's get the syntax correct. So we'll do CertUtil. All right, we'll do -URL cache -F. Let's look at the syntax again. Okay, and then it's gonna be followed by our IP address as the attacker, because that's where we're hosting our Python web server, which is up here. So we do 192.168.231.132. And we're going to do it on port 8000 since that's where we're serving it up at, right? We want the reverse .exe, but then we're going to name it rev.exe. So as you can see, it's on our system. We do dir, pull it up so you can see it, and you see it right there. So as you see, we had our antivirus, so we had Defender disabled to run these executables, and that's why I was able to get a reverse shell. What if we tried to run these with Defender enabled? What would we get? Well, let me show you. So we'll go to Windows Security, we'll go to Manage Settings, and we're going to make sure real-time protection and everything is on. Okay, now let's try to run these. So I tried to run that one. Okay, threat found. Let's run the server. That one's not running. Let's try to run system update. That one's not able to run. Let's run that one. Threat found. Let's try to run this one. Threat found. So for the most part, Defender is not as bad because it has detected these threats. But there's ways to obfuscate this. There's ways to encode this. And I'm going to go over that with you here in the next video, how to be more stealthy.